Welcome back to First and Gold. I'm your host, Sam Gold, and today, of course, we have our Week 3 predictions. And honestly, I just want to go right into it. I'm excited for this week, so here we go. Starting with Thursday Night Football. I don't know why the NFL does this to the Dolphins, but once again, they're playing on Thursday night against the Bills. Just like last year, we all know how that went, unfortunately for Tua. But this time, it's in Buffalo, and the Dolphins are desperate. This could totally be a game where the organization really wants to pull the trigger here. They could fire Mike McDaniel after this game. I don't think it's going to happen, and I'm really tempted to make this my lock of the week, but I don't want to pick the Bills 2 weeks in a row because I feel like that's just too easy, so I'll leave it for now. But the Bills are definitely going to dominate this game. I just don't see how the Dolphins have any juice for this one. They're completely outmatched. Their defense sucks. So, yep, I'm picking the Bills to destroy the Dolphins in this one, 41-17. And then moving on to Sunday, 1 o'clock. This one's pretty fun, except it got ruined by injury. Vikings-Bengals in Minnesota. And if you guys haven't heard, Joe Burrow suffered a turf toe injury against the Jaguars. And if he has to get surgery on it, which it looks like it's going to happen, he's missing 3 months of the season. So that sucks. This could have been a lot more fun. Now, look, Jake Browning's a fine backup, and the Vikings, I don't really know how to grasp them right now, so maybe it's a close game. Maybe it's a fun one, but I'll do what's probably the boring pick here and pick the Vikings to win this game at home. It's the Vikings, though. It's the Bengals, though, so it's going to be a close game, 23-20. All right, and then the battle of the AFC South teams, and this could be a desperation game for the Texans as they head into Jacksonville to play each other. And look, this is filmed before Bucs-Texans. I think the Bucs are going to win this game. So let's just say the Texans are 0-2. Man, I mean, if they go to 0-3, I feel like their playoff hopes are pretty much getting really close to zero at this point, which is crazy to think because the Texans have been a playoff team the last 2 years. But yeah, this is a big opportunity for the Jaguars to come in and be like, nope, it's going to be us, maybe the Colts, and you're going to have to take a year off the Texans. So we'll see what happens. It's at home, so they have a good chance here. They just really need to sharpen up the drops from their wide receivers and their secondary, because the Texans, if they can exploit one thing, it's a team's bad secondary. So we'll see what happens. I don't really have too much faith in the Jaguars, unfortunately, especially if they're 0-2, the Texans. So I am actually going to pick the Texans to win this game, 23-17. And then another battle of the AFC South teams. You got Colts-Titans. Ooh, man, this one's actually, I'm so tempted to pick this as my upset of the week. But at this point, I've seen enough. I've seen enough from the Colts. I actually have some confidence in them. I don't think it's a complete fluke. Now, are they a playoff team? We'll see. But look, they go into Tennessee. This is an extremely winnable game. Daniel Jones is hot. They look better than everyone expected. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the Colts to win this one, 30-20. All right, and then Raiders at Commanders. Kind of a random game, but I think even though I like the Raiders and they're a lot more stable this season, and I like their offense, I do think this is a big bounce back game at home for the Commanders. They just had a tough loss where the Packers absolutely dominated them on primetime. And I think that Jaden Daniels is absolutely still good enough to tear apart a pretty weak Raiders defense. Now, thank God the Commanders got Laramie Tunsil in the offseason, because I don't know what they would have done against Max Crosby in this game. So that still worries me a little bit, but they have some protection. The Raiders are going to come out comfortably with a win here, 27-17. All right, and then this should be a good game. The Rams travel to Philly for a game in which, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do it. This is going to be my upset of the week. Now, I could totally be shut up here because the Eagles right now are searching for an offensive identity after 2 games, which, to be quite honest with you, weren't that impressive. So we'll see. You got to see something out of A.J. Brown in this game. He's been very quiet to start the season. And it's going to be a tough one because the Rams defense is one of the best in the NFL right now. They have a great front seven. Luckily, the Eagles offensive line can probably match that. So overall, signs are pointing, especially the Eagles are at home, signs are pointing that they're going to win this game. But I like the Rams. I think they got a lot of juice. Puka Nacua is primed for another big game here. So I'm going to pick my upset alert, and I'm going to have it going into overtime as one of the best games of the week, and I'm picking the Rams to win this 26-20. All right, and then the Falcons head to Carolina in a game where, honestly, all I want to see out of the Panthers is for them to be competitive in like the first half of the game. Because at this point, I said this last episode, if it's not in a game where the Panthers are already mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, or they're trying to climb back in a miracle comeback, I have not seen a single thing impressive about this team. And it's a division matchup. It's big. They're finally at home. They need to show some juice, especially Bryce Young. I have to see something here, or honestly, I'm really about to give up. With that being said, I am picking the Falcons, so I guess that means they're probably not going to end up playing that well, and I think the Falcons have all the juice in the world. They have great offensive weapons. Their rookies on defense played awesome against the Vikings last week. I'm picking the Falcons to win this game in kind of an ugly one, 23-14. All right, next up is a battle of two teams that, man, I did not like them in the 2010s. This used to be such a prime matchup, but we got Steelers at Patriots, and honestly, the Steelers are coming off of a loss, which means they probably should bounce back with a win if I do want them to hover around 500. But how perfect would this be, like, if the Steelers drop this game? Like, this is such a game the Steelers would lose. But I am going to stick with the Steelers. It's crazy because I picked the Steelers to win all 3 games so far. I'm 1-1 so far, but I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be fine in this one. The Patriots defense is okay. It's not great. I don't know. I am interested to see how Drake May handles the Steelers pass rush, especially with Jalen Ramsey in the secondary as well. Overall, I do think it's actually going to be a little bit of a blowout. So I am going to pick the Steelers to win this one 26-13. All right, next up is Packers-Browns in Cleveland, and I like to check, shout out Gridiron Uniform Database, the website that shows you the uniform matchup of every week of the season, if the teams actually announce their uniform schedule. And I looked this one up, and the Browns are going all brown with a brown helmet. So if that isn't shouting we're going to get our ass kicked in this game, I don't know what is, especially against the team that I think currently is the best team in the NFC. So this is my lock of the week. The Packers are going to Cleveland. It's going to be super easy, super boring, and I'm picking them to win it 31-9. And then another game shouting out the uniforms. We've got Jets-Bucks. The Bucks pulling out their old school uniforms for the first time this season, except this time I'm pretty sure they're wearing their white jerseys from the 70s and 80s. Not the full creamsicles, but they're going white with the old helmet. I like that against the Jets green at home. It's the Bucks' first home game of the season. I do think they're going to beat the Texans, like I said. So they're going to be 2-0. They're going to have a lot of juice. Yes, they're still dealing with injuries, but at this point, the Jets defense is horrible. I don't think Justin Fields has it in him to go up against the Bucks defense. Maybe you never know what happens. Maybe the Jets are desperate and get their first win of the season, but I'm going to stick with the Bucks and a team that I think has a great future this season, and I'm picking them to win it in a game that's not going to be close, 34-20. And then we move to the 4 o'clock window, Chargers-Broncos in SoFi. Man, this one's also really tough because the Chargers could absolutely be 2-0 going to this game. We've not seen that Raiders game yet, but I think the Broncos are actually going to bounce back. I think the Chargers starting 3-0 just doesn't feel right for me. This one's more off of vibes, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm going to pick the Broncos to have a better game, especially from Bo Nix. He needs to sharpen up a little bit this season, or else we're going to start losing hope and think this is a sophomore slump for him. So we'll see what happens. This is going to be really close. I'm picking this last-minute field goal. Will Lutz winning it 27-24. And then a game that I am honestly really not that interested in, Saints at Seahawks. This used to be a pretty fun matchup, especially back in the Legion of Boom, Drew Brees era. But look, I mean, the Seahawks, I'll give them this. Their defense looked awesome against the Steelers. Sam Darnold looked a lot sharper than he did in week 1. They're at home. They're playing one of the worst teams in the NFL. Although I will say, Spencer Rattler has played a lot better than I thought he was going to play this season. Now, do I think he's a full-time starter in the NFL? Probably not. But I am interested to see how he does in a rowdy environment in Seattle. But overall, I am going to pick the Seahawks. I think they're just the better team flat out, and they're going to win this game 23-13. And then the Kevin Burkhardt Fox kind of primetime 425 slot game. I understand why they picked this matchup. It's two very distinct teams, franchises, good markets, but it's Cowboys-Bears. I think this game is going to disappoint on many levels, and I think once again, it's just going to kind of show up as a season of torture for the Bears this year. The Cowboys defense is really not impressive. They just gave up 37 points to the Giants. So if Caleb Williams at home in desperation can't go out there and get themselves a win, then like I don't know what else to say about the Bears at this point. Like, is he a bust? Maybe, but is it still the Bears being cursed? Maybe. I feel like Ben Johnson should be putting together a really good game plan against a weak Cowboys defense, but I'm still going out there and picking the Cowboys, if I'm being honest. So I think this is a huge wake-up call for the Bears organization if they don't win this game, and I think it's going to happen. So yeah, I'm picking the Cowboys to win this one 27-19. And then the final 4 o'clock game, Cardinals 49ers. I have a hard time believing, even though I think this guy is a solid backup, I have a hard time believing Mac Jones is piecing together another 3-touchdown performance. Now, I know they're at home. The Cardinals are most likely going to start 3-0 this season, which that was something it wasn't even in my ether, so there goes that. Yeah, I think the Cardinals are going to go out and kind of win this low-scoring, ugly game where they have a little more juice, and the 49ers without Brock Purdy, we'll see what happens. But all the Cardinals really need to do in this game is just run the ball. I think it's going to be a battle between James Conner and Christian McCaffrey being the main focal points of these offenses. And yeah, I'm picking the Cardinals to win this one 19-16. And then the Sunday night football game, a game that I will be attending, Chiefs-Giants. Look, I get it. Mahomes rarely pops in to the New York metropolitan area, so they have to put this one on prime time, but especially with the way these two teams have started off the season, this absolutely should be a 1 o'clock game. It's fine. It's still fun to see your favorite team in prime time, so it's going to be fun in person, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, look, flashback to 2017, the first ever time I saw the Chiefs in person, was at Giants, the Alex Smith era. We lost that game in overtime, 12-9. In one of the ugliest games I've ever watched in my life, so hopefully it's better than that. If the Chiefs go out and lose this game, they're missing the playoffs. Point blank in the period. Because they got to play the Ravens after this. They got to play the Lions. They got to play the Bills. They got to play the Commanders. That's all before the bye week. So if we don't go out and beat the Giants, panic button is going to be broken at this point for me hitting it. So go watch our last episode. I've aired out all the laundry, all the issues of this Chiefs team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. There are rumors that Xavier Worthy is coming back for this game, so if that happens, that would be great, although I'm a little bit scared because he's wearing this giant brace and harness around his shoulder. So if he gets hit once really badly by that great Giants defense and pass rush, I'm going to be nervous. But I'm picking this one to be really, really ugly. I just think the Chiefs are going to struggle like they have been so far, getting every yard of offense. And hopefully Spagnuolo, revenge game, by the way, he goes out and just completely dominates on the defensive side of the ball, and the Chiefs just squeak out a win. So I'm going to pick the Chiefs to win this one 16-13 in just a game that really, once again, should not be on Sunday Night Football. And then finally, this one's exciting. Lions at Ravens. Monday Night Football. Now, Ravens fans are probably like, nah, we got this one in the bag. We absolutely destroyed the Lions the last time they came to Baltimore 2 years ago. But I do think this one's going to be a lot closer. Aiden Hutchinson needs to be a major focal point in this game, or else I'm pretty scared for this Lions defense against the Ravens. They are just so electric, especially at home in primetime. Very intimidating team to play when they're at home in primetime. So I do think Lamar Jackson is primed for another big performance. I am going to stick with the Ravens in this one. The Lions will probably fall to 1-2, which is, record-wise might be concerning, but I think they'll still be fine. They're a playoff team. But look, I think it's a lot of fun. Everybody's got to sit their ass on the couch for this one. It's going to be a shootout. I'm picking the Lions to lose this one, unfortunately, 38-27. And there you go. Monday Night Football in the books as well. And week 3 in the books in terms of predictions. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and also comment down below your predictions for this week. It can be bold. It could be a complete upset. It could be your lock of the week. And we'll shout out the one that got the closest on next week's prediction episode. So that's a lot of fun. And guys, yeah, just thank you so much for watching. Follow us on First and Gold on Instagram and TikTok. I'm Sam Gold, your host. We'll be back next week for the week 3 recap. Goodbye.